Well, we should have had this done a while ago, but we ran into a problem, which I'll explain here in a minute, and explain the solution that we've come to fix the problem. But with Christmas and people being sick and everything, it's been a little while. If you remember last episode, we'd put the nice powder coat finish on the case, and it looked really good. All we had to do is put the decals on it, which we went ahead and did. But on these finishes, the water slide decals worked really well on the other S-38 that I did that had the wrinkle finish. But on these flat finishes, you can see you can see where the decals were put on, where the water from the water slide, or the water from when we put them on, slid down there. We got these stains on it. I just don't like it. And again, we had the problem with these breaking off. I thought about going ahead and just putting a clear coat on here, but with these stains on here, I'm almost sure those would show through there. So what we did, we spent the last week or so, maybe 2 weeks, playing around, and what we came up with, this is kind of a test here, we're getting a little bit better, is this is actually a dry application decal. Basically, we print them out. We're printing them out ourselves. There's a whole process that does this, and that I'll document later on. It's kind of a complicated. It goes fast, but it's kind of a complicated process. So as you can see, I can show you from different angles, but it sticks really well. Once it gets on there and adheres, it's not coming off. I've got a raised, it feels like it's raised, like the original the original lettering on it, and it leaves no adhesive. The only adhesive in there is behind each individual letter. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go back out, re-media blast this, re-powder coat it, and then we're going to reapply our decals, and hopefully we'll have it done here fairly soon. Okay, here's a shot of the case again. Prior to media blasting, we had to use a stripper on it to get the powder coating off. It would not come off without stripping it first. So we're hoping now that we got most of it stripped off, we can remove the remainder using the media blaster. Alright, here we are after the powder coating. It did turn out really good. Really happy with the finish. It turned out as good as it did the first time we did it. So that's a relief. If I was going to do it over again, probably what I would have done, rather than trying to strip it, I probably would have just removed the first decals that we put on it, and then I did find out, or we have found out, that you can't put a second coat of powder coat on. You just need to heat the object up before you apply the powder coat, so it'll stick to it. So next time we might try that first, but this ended up, it took us probably, even with the stripper, it probably took us about 2 hours we removed the everything off the front, the side, and the top. We left the inside the way it was, because I don't really care as much about the inside. Actually, this is better covered than most of the insides were when they came out of the factory. So next step, we'll go ahead and put the dry erase decals on it. We're going to speed up the applying the decals, so for the brevity of the video. Okay, here we are at last. This has been a process that's went over way too long. It's went a lot longer than I wanted it to, but I think the final product looks good. I'm happy with it. We've got all the white decals on it. We've got the green decals on it, and if you notice, the green decals are a lot. If you've ever seen one of these with the green decals, so this color is a lot closer than the color for the water that the water slide decals were. Took us a while. Took us almost a week to get this down to where we got it to where we wanted it to. Originally, we used a little bit lighter color for these, and we found that we couldn't. When we pulled that off, we couldn't get it to stick. So we just went a little bit darker of a color, and actually turned out looking a lot better than the original color we were working with. Now, when you print these off on the laser printer, there's too many. When the laser printer sprays it on, there's actually quite a few holes in there that you don't see when it's on the white paper. So what we have to do, it's a different process than when we do the white labels, because basically what we have to do is we have to print it on to the decal, the release paper, which looks like this. It's got some pectin on it, and you print it onto that, and then what you have to do is you have to use some paper that looks, or some film that looks like this, and you stick that to the back of it, and then you have to pull it off the paper, and and attach it to another paper so that you can glue the back of the white and stick it down. And that brought up another thing. When we were doing the white decals, basically we were printing black and then we're attaching the white to it and sticking it down. We found that when we did those, we didn't want to apply too much pressure to the decal, because when we went to pull it off, if we applied too much pressure, it would the white would stick and separate from the black that's behind here. Well, it was just the opposite with the green. We found that with the green we had to really press it down and then pull it off, and so it was a kind of a long learning curve, but we did make it through it. We know what we're doing now, so hopefully the next ones we do further down the road will go a lot smoother and a lot faster. And every time we do one, we get it done just a little bit better. But we finally got there's a couple imperfections on it, but unless I point them out to you, you probably won't pick it up. So we're finally there. The case turned out looking really good. Here's what those decals look like when they're on the Mylar. Basically, we cut these out, spray them with some glue, and then lay them down there and stick them, and so that's what those end up looking like. And here's a picture. I don't know how well this will come out. This is what we started with, and this is what we ended up with. I think definite improvement. So what do we have left? This, like I said, took a lot longer. Case took almost, I don't know how many hours we have in this. Maybe actual working time, we probably got about, I don't know, maybe 20 hours into this. Should have been a lot less than that, and I'm hoping the next time we do one of these it'll be a lot less. So what we got to do is reglue the emblem here, clean up the emblem, reglue that in there. I have to cut out a piece of black cardboard that will sit in here, cardboard essentially, and then we attach our new speaker in there, bolt that down. That ended up looking really, we'll get in there real good. I have to I have to put the lens cover back in here and get that put down. I get that done. Again, we haven't got to the knob yet. I have to find it here. We have to reproduce this knob. This knob came off of one of mine that I'm going to redo. The one that was on this one, the apron here or whatever, was cracked, so we'll reproduce that. We'll do that in the next episode. Then we'll put everything back together, get it back in. I'll have to reproduce a label for here, for the bottom. Oh, that's been sitting here so long I got dust on it. I really apologize to Arthur. I really wish it wouldn't have taken this long, but I appreciate him being patient with me and giving me the opportunity to hone my craft here. So, until next time, when we finish it up, and I'm hoping I'll finish it up this weekend and get it shipped off to Arthur this early next week, and then we'll start. Next one we do will be a S-40. But thanks a lot for being patient with me, and until next time, this is KB0SQ signing off.